Well, we love to hear from you, and many of you have sent questions via email. So we want to bring it on with a few of your questions, and Pat's going to give you some answers.
Maybe. All right, let's
This
try.
is Mark, who says,
Yeah.
There's a TV show I like to watch that's all about witches. My wife says watching that show will bring evil spirits into our house. Since God has power over the devil, I don't think I need to worry about that. What do you think, Pat?
You know, I've heard of demons who were in people, and in an attempt to cast them out, this demon said, but I had permission. And I think that if you give demons permission, then you say God's powerful, but you're also powerful, and so you've given the demon position. He's able to come into your home. I wouldn't play with devils. It's dangerous, and that's all I can say is it's dangerous.
I would agree. This is Janice, who says, my neighbors seem to have life so easy with a nice house and a happy family. I struggle with being jealous of their blessings. Is there any way to get rid of this root of jealousy?
You can read the Psalms, that I envied the rich that God gave me a look at what was happening to them, and they were on a slippery slope all the way to hell. And I don't know if your neighbors are that way or not, but listen, focus on God. That's the answer. Focus on His love for you. Focus on the opportunities He gives you. Don't fret yourself over those who prosper in His way. That's what the Psalm says. Don't fret over somebody else's prospering. If he prospers, praise the Lord. Say, I'm so grateful, Lord, you've prospered this person. And I pray that you'll do the same thing for me. That's all.
This is Helen, who says, Pat, what is Mother Nature? Does it have anything to do with the weather, earthquakes, and other natural disasters?
There is no such thing as, quote, Mother Nature. It's just a name that's given to the forces that control the wind and the weather and the sun and the stars and all this stuff. They call it Mother Nature. There is no such being as Mother Nature, although there are people who worship, you know, woman goddesses, and Gaia is one of them, the earth goddess and so forth. There is no Mother Nature, so don't worry about it.
This is Bob, who says, the Bible talks about binding and loosing things here on earth that will also be bound or loosed in heaven. How does that work?
Well, the rabbis in the time of Jesus would put down regulations, and the term was they bound these regulations. You know, you'll eat so much food, you will not do this on Saturday, you won't do the other, and so forth. This was binding. And then they could come along and say, well, I've loosed that regulation. You don't have to do that any longer. So that's binding and loosing. And so Jesus said to his disciples, whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth is loosed in heaven. I think God has given enormous power to the church. We just don't understand it. We don't use the power that God's given us because we're not serious about it. But if we are serious, we have enormous power to bind regulations and to loose regulations.
Okay, this is Marva, who says, my husband and I are walking by faith, but really hurting financially right now. Is it wrong to share our needs with other believers, or should we just tell God alone?
Well, there's nothing wrong with sharing your needs, but who are you trusting? I mean, are you sort of secretly hoping those neighbors will slip you a couple $100? I mean, is that the idea? And if it is, well, that's okay too. But are you trusting God or not? And I don't know what else to say. He said, there's nothing wrong with sharing your needs. You know, I've got a mortgage payment that's a killer. Would you please pray for me?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and if God leads?
God leads, fine. If he doesn't lead, but once you start thinking, I'm going to share it kind of quietly with them, and somehow I'll plant the seed and then they'll give me money, then you're not trusting God. You're trusting the persuasiveness of what you've said.
Well, that's all the time we've got for today, but we thank you for your questions. We appreciate hearing from you.